Welcome back to the final day of the regular season here of the All or Nothing League, and we have quite the matchup here for you. But first, let's go to the division standings and show you what's what. Actually, it'd be best to show you this menu right here. So first, let's start with the NL East. The Speed team won this division handily. They're 10-0 in their last 10 games. The Durability Factor team's hanging on. They have a chance of maybe having a 500 season or being a game over. They're also fighting for a wild card spot. More on that in a second. In the NL Central, we have some monster pitching teams, the hits per nine and the walks per nine teams especially. And just look at that. The walks per nine team has 100 wins, and they're still 25 games behind the hits per nine team. If you don't think hits per nine is one of the most important attributes in the game, well, I don't know what to tell you. This is insane. The rest of the teams in this division, I thought they'd be fighting for a playoff spots, but the home runs per nine team, K per nine team, stamina, they have all fallen below 500 and will not be in a playoff spot or contention. I mean, it's a struggle when you have all of these teams together in the same division, but I kind of wanted to do it for research's sake to see how these teams would interact with each other during some of those games as well. Moving on to the NL West, the pitching clutch team, which was kind of the odd man out of those first 5 pitching teams, was relegated to this division, and they have ran with it. They've won 98 games over the control, break, velocity teams. The Knuckleballers are a game behind the wild card with the game to go. So if they win their matchup and the durability team loses theirs, they'll have a one-game playoff, which we've already seen the knuckleball teams so far this season. The durability factor team, I mean, there's just real no reason to watch them. There's nothing that it's really different in the game itself. It's just through the simulated play, all of their players are rested and thereby maybe perform a bit better. So I'm hoping the knuckleball team kind of comes out of this with the win and makes the playoffs, because it would make for some more entertaining baseball, I would say. If we were to spectate, but either way, I don't think either of those teams are going to make it very far. Now we go back to the AL West. The fielding team, the Gold Glover team, won considerably. They have a 28-game lead over the rest of the fielding attribute teams. Blocking, arm strength and accuracy, and reaction time, all of them close to 80 to 90, maybe even 100 losses for the accuracy team. In the AL Central, the discipline team won 109 games. Might win 110. They won their division handily as well. So not as many close division races as I thought they were going to be. I thought for sure the pitching per nine division was going to be a lot closer, but the hits and walks per nine just took it and ran away. Discipline team, you'll see once we go over the league leaders and everything after the conclusion of this game just how great they were at getting runners on base. And finally, we have the AL East, and this was the best of the bunch in terms of like the most teams above 500. The contact versus left team, surprisingly, 114 wins, and the contact right team only 93. I think part of that was just the fact that we had an extra lefty in the bullpen, and you tend to face the bullpen a little bit more than some of the starters. The starters only last about 4 innings, so that could just be something that I had, but like you're going to have one way or the other kind of act differently. If I were to do this all again and have 3 lefties in the rotation and then more righties in the bullpen, it might flip-flop. I don't think it's worth the time and effort, but essentially the contact teams are both making the playoffs. The contact versus right team will play the wild card game at home between the 2 power teams, who interestingly does not have as wide of a gap between the 2 contact teams. They are both 82 and 79. So contact, there's been a huge difference. Power, it doesn't seem to matter all that much whether you face lefties or righties out of the bullpen, because if you don't have the ability to square up the ball with vision, I mean, contact kind of expands your PCI. Vision just is kind of that timing window. And we've seen with a lot of the defensive players in this franchise, sometimes all you need to do is put the ball in play. Anyway, before I ramble on too much, let's get into the game action. We're going to be watching this power right versus power left team. We got to look at the power versus right team earlier in the season against the speed team. And it is kind of an all or nothing thing. I mean, aside from the fact that you kind of swing for the fences or you don't, there is going to be a 50-50 chance on top of that, depending on the bullpen arm or the starter that they face out of the game. So I would give the slight advantage to the power versus left team if they can make it through the starter a lot quicker, because more of the bullpen arms, like I said, are lefties. They have a higher chance of hitting a home run, but it remains to be seen. Our last game of the regular season at low variable field. Let's just give you a look here at the offensive and defensive splits. I mean, incredibly, the power versus right team has given up 2 more runs per game than the power versus left team. The average is pretty close to the same, though. Actually, to feed my curiosity, let's go to the standings here. So Yeah, the power versus right team have given up 1,500 runs. Everybody else in their division has been 1,200 or less. They've scored 33 runs less than their counterparts here. But here we go, power right versus power left. Again, the starting pitcher. Look at that guy's ERA, 45 runs. What? I mean, this guy has an ERA near 10, but like we're gonna have to look at that here in a second in the box score or like the player stats. Did that say 45? Wow, this guy has pitched 32 games, has an ERA of 45.5. Why is he such an outlier compared to everybody else? He even had a complete game. What in the actual hell? 98 innings pitched, 521 hits allowed, 509 runs. Why is this guy so much worse than everybody else? Unless his stats were like, I mean, they've all pitched 32 games too, right? The starters? Yeah, like, why is this guy so bad? This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. There had to have been like a glitch or something. There's just no way why his stats should be 5-fold higher than everybody else.
How's it going, folks? Kasabi from the future here. Just a little bit more about this tangent of the pitcher with a 45 ERA. I went back to the game history for the power versus right team and found this game on the schedule, which ended in a 163-8 victory. And upon clicking on the box score, I actually found out that the contact versus left team scored 419 runs, which 419 minus 163 is 256. I think there's like some hexadecimal or whatever you want to call it value where it can't go over 256, so it starts back over. And that's why it shows as 163-8 in the box score as opposed to 419 runs. But I talked about it earlier, that guy had a complete game, and that's because they just left him in here this entire game. 9 innings, gave up 419 runs. He was a lefty pitcher facing the contact versus left team, so they just absolutely took him to task here. If you go up to the home run section, you'll actually see that they hit 20 home runs off of this poor pitcher. The contact team hit 20 home runs off of this guy. And again, it just happened randomly in this middle of August portion between these off days on the 9th and the 23rd. So their bullpen must have just been so butt tired, maybe from this 16-12 game, I don't know, that they just left this pitcher in the entire game. Absolutely crazy, probably one of the strangest things I've seen in this franchise file, but let's get back to the game action.
I tell you, for, you know, as lackluster as some of the stuff I was anticipating with this franchise happens to be, like last episode, nobody really stole any bases for the 2 stealing teams. Sometimes I just look at the box score or some stats and just, there's something new to feed my curiosity and, you know, just absolutely boggles the mind. Like a few episodes ago too, we saw that a few of the guys had attributes below 0. I didn't know you could go below 0. Let's see how many dingers they hit in this game too. There's no wind at low variable field. Elevation is about average. Good defensive play. Throw to first for the out. I realized I've made a lot of these teams the same colors too. There are too many teams that are wearing black, and you really can't tell the difference from one to the next. So power versus left, black and white team. Power versus right, black and green. When we did see the power versus right team play the speed team, they scored a lot of runs, but the speed team just ultimately overran them with the amount of offense that they had. So right here is the matchup you want. It's a power versus lefty hitter versus a lefty pitcher. They make contact in a decent window. They should be able to power it over the fence. On deck, we have a guy with 34 homers. I guess I should look at the stats and see too, like who the team leaders are in homers. There's a sizzler over to first base, caught for the out. Real quick, let's look at the home run leaders. So on the power versus right team, a couple guys topping out at only 28, but that's pretty good considering they're only facing the handedness of pitchers that they're good against half of the time. And for this team, their leader is 34. The rest are all near 26, 27. So 34 should be the league leader in home runs. He also has 130 RBI. The shortstop, if you can believe it, leads the league in home runs. Leads everybody in home runs. This guy's probably a good Silver Slugger, Hank Aaron Award. I don't know about MVP because there's probably so many good pitchers and stuff out there that, or the discipline team to worry about. But probably a good lead MVP candidate. I just realized that the batters are facing off against the pitchers that they do the best against too. So lefties are facing a lefty pitcher, righties are facing a righty pitcher, and there's one that will find its way all the way to the wall. Relay throw's not going to be in time. There's our first hit of the ball game, and it comes from one of the potential MVPs. 3-0 curveball hangs into the zone for a strike. Batter was taking all the way. And now with the green light probably on 3-1. Looking for a fastball, I would assume. Not looking for a 3-0 curveball. But that one will miss high for ball 4. So runners on the corners with 2 away for the power versus left team. Called strike on the inside corner. Now 1-2. Might be able to get him fishing here. Calls for the breaking pitch down in the zone. Ends up on the outer part of the plate, but works effectively. And we're scoreless after 1. So again, incredibly, no score in the first inning. Power versus right team is facing a righty starter. Power versus left facing a lefty starter. I would imagine some fireworks here at the very least to start off the game, since they're set against the guys that they need. 0-2 count to the leadoff hitter here. Fouled away. Called strike. He took it on the outer part of the plate. And we've had some good pitches so far early in the game, although they will start to tire in a bit and maybe leave some pitches up around the 3rd or 4th inning. Oh, that's crushed. Perfect, perfect. Line drive shot into the stands. 392, 110 off the bat. That was an absolute laser. Let's get a look here. Did that reach the second deck or just the back of the... Oh no, that just made it over the wall. I lost track of the baseball there. Not much of a launch angle though, so like I guess it's kind of apt that it just made it over the wall with a short line drive. But there's your first home run of the ball game. I'm hoping we'll see at least a few more, some fireworks to end the regular season. Again, both of these teams with 82 wins and 79 losses. The winner here will go to the wild card game and face the contact versus right team, one of their other divisional opponents. Will be a 1-game winner-take-all as well, so I think the winner of that will end up facing the contact versus left team. This whole division's just going to keep slugging each other until there's one team left standing. I think they'd still have to face somebody before the World Series, though, that's outside of their division. Just the way that things are kind of shaping up. There's one that the batter was late, but was able to poke it through the hole on the right side for a base hit. So not an extra base hit with some of that power, but sometimes you just hit a grounder a bit harder than the average guy. It's going to find a hole. And I can't wait for the 9-hole hitters. The pitchers even have 99 power. And he crushes this one, this time to right field. That's not a line drive. That is a tape measure shot. It's a 3-0 lead for the power versus right team. See where this one lands. I hope it didn't scrape the wall like the last one. It did. Some of these, no doubt, home runs that they hit. Like, they have 99 power. Why can't they go 450 feet? Will the pitcher hit a home run? Look at the stat sheet here. No home runs, though. He's looking for his first home run of the season. Might get pulled sometimes before he has an opportunity to bat. Fouls that one away. 2-2 count. So yeah, scoreless first inning. Power versus right teams put 3 on the board. Power versus left will have their next opportunity here in a moment once the last strike's found here in this inning. 22 pitches so far this inning, 34 in the game, so the starters do not last very long for these teams. And a high pop-up by the pitcher should end the inning out to left field. Gloved for the final out. So 2 home runs in the inning lead to 3 runs on the board. Power versus left look to strike back here. 6, 7, and 8 will lead this one off. They made the pitcher throw 26 pitches last inning and had runners on the corners, but could not push anything across. See if they hit some homers this time. There it is. First batter of the inning on the second pitch that he sees. That one made it out of here quite considerably. 439 for that one. It's like almost 30, 40 feet longer than the first 2 that we saw. You just hope that it comes with some runners on some base next time. Again, though, these 2 teams battling for their wild card lives. The whole season comes down to this. You've played 161 games, cranked many dingers, but you just need to crank a few more to put yourself ahead and put yourself in a position for the title. This one's a high fly ball out to right center, taken in just short of the warning track for out number 1. So if we look at their stats, most of these guys' batting averages are about 264, 270, and about, I would say, a fifth of their hits are home runs. So you're hitting a home run maybe every 20 at-bats or so. My math might be incorrect there, but still not a bad home run to AB percentage or ratio. And again, that's facing some pitchers who you don't match up well against, who you have 0 power against. So if you face those guys the whole season, well, this one's going to be dead center. Doesn't have enough steam to get over the fence. Leaping, it hits his glove. He keeps it in the ballpark. This will likely lead to a triple. Throw home is going to keep him at third, so with 2 away, you keep the runner from scoring on the home run. I think this would have either just been over the fence or maybe hit the top of the fence. Let's get a look here. So this one's coming down center field. Does he have a play on this? Oh yeah, I think that was going to be over. That's quite the shot right there, though. Look at that. Look how majestic that is. But as you kind of go through the replay, it hits off of his glove, so he saves a home run. Leads to a triple. They might be able to get out of this inning yet with 2 away and a runner at third. If they end up winning by 1 run in this game, that is going to be the difference right there. Blocked by the catcher. He's going to keep the runner at third again. Tries throwing, and oh my goodness, they're just going to give the run right back on a ball that didn't need to be thrown. I was just talking about how that could have been the difference in the game, and then they pull some BS like that. That hurts me as a viewer. That hurts me as an investor in this franchise. And there's a sharp single into the outfield. Runner would have scored anyway. Just looks worse on your gold glove percentage. Oh, look at him going for 2 and gets there, beats the throw. I thought for sure he's just going to stay at first. Now he's just going to keep talking, but he slid into second, beat the throw. With me playing MLB 22 so much this year, it's kind of bringing me back to hear Matt Vasgersian commentate. I don't know how much you guys can hear it on the video, but nothing against Boog Shambi. It's just Matt Vasgersian. I've been so used to hearing his voice with this game for over 15 years. Oh, that one's left up in the zone, and power versus left is going to take the lead on that one. 444 feet. That's the longest home run so far today. We're up to 4 home runs through 2 innings, and still a couple outs to go. Oh, let's get a look at where this one lands with show vision. Did that make the upper deck? No, just the launch angle was incredible on that one. 33.9 degrees. I was up in the air for almost 8.5 seconds. So they take the lead 4-3. Starter still in there. From here it becomes a bullpen game if you take him out of the game. He's already up to close to 50 pitches. Your bullpen's tired. It's the end of the season. You got to do anything to put yourself in a position to win. And right now, they're facing off against a pitcher they can hit against. Walks also amplify the problem. If you have more base runners and they hit a home run, that's more runs that you give up for free. Pitch number 50 coming up here with a full count, 2 away in the second. Tap foul, so we'll have pitch number 51. They've shown his pitch count 3 times in this at-bat alone, so he has just got to be gone on fumes. This is the guy, though, that they've left in all season to have his ERA just absolutely balloon, and he'll make it out of this inning with a pop out to third base. 4-3 as we go into the 3rd inning. We had no score in the first. We had plenty of scoring here in the second. His ERA's actually gone down. He's given up 4 runs in 2 innings, and his ERA's actually gone down and might go below 45 if he goes out for another inning. Absolutely incredible. I can't even believe this guy had a complete game and a win. Top of the 3rd, though. This guy hasn't thrown as many pitches, up to 37 now. 4-pitch walk to the 2-hole hitter. Now the tying run is on first. Go ahead run at the plate. That's why I almost like when they don't have runners on base, because we get to see more of that glorious power swing come into action instead of playing some of this. You know, it's the great Kent Murphy said, don't bunt, hit dingers. And that's exactly what we want here. See, look at that. That's going to be a home run. It's the first no-doubter of the game, but you just gave away an out to hit a home run anyway. You went to the opposite right center gap too. Incredible power there exhibited by the cleanup hitter. So the seesaw continues. It's 5-4. Power right takes the lead again. We'll see how long they leave in these starters. The thing is too, like, they might be gassed, so they might pull him for a bullpen arm, but like the game is close enough where sometimes even if you give up 5, 6, 7 runs, the computer doesn't pull you right away because they still think the game is within a reasonable deficit where they don't have to put in the bullpen yet. You can just continue to pitch with the starters. There's a back-to-back home run, this time by the number 5 hitter. It's another line drive home run, puts them up 6-4. Fastball left right down the middle of the plate, and there they go. They go to a lefty out of the bullpen, and this guy should shut down power versus right hitters. They just have absolutely no leverage now. But to the game, they only see the lefty versus lefty matchup, I think. Or maybe they just went to the guy who has the most stamina out of the bullpen. So they're not even really thinking about that sometimes when they do these like computer calculations for who they put in the game. Lace to shortstop. They did get a solid hit on it, but that will end the inning. Go to the bottom of the third. It's 6-4 now, power versus right. And they do have a new pitcher out, but it's another lefty. So they'll have an opportunity to maybe put some balls in the seats. Maybe the smart play, kind of 4D chess going on. If you get all of your lefties out of the way to begin the game, then by the time you reach the end of the game, you only have righties, and they'll just completely falter. So it's more of an issue of, do you give up more runs now and lock them down later, or do you just kind of let the game continue, give up runs sporadically throughout the innings? That's going to be fielded by the shortstop. He does a Derek Jeter throw to first base. And even a blind squirrel's right twice a day sometimes, I suppose. 0 speed coming out of the box, so the throw was there, but no arm strength, no fielding, no reaction, no nothing. And you still get plays like that sometimes. I've noticed a lot of the pitches they've been hitting for home runs so far today are fastballs. There's another defensive play knocked down by the first baseman, flips to first. And there have just been plenty of baseballs that have been knocked down, not necessarily caught on some of those plays, but sometimes knocking it down is just as good. Now they have the first 2 outs of the inning with a lefty pitcher. Ooh, that's going to be an easy double. This one's blocked by the catcher. He's going to try and advance to third base, and it will not work out for him this time. We saw that earlier in the game, but that time he runs himself out of the inning, and they do not score in the bottom of the third. We go to the 4th inning at a 6-4 score. Power versus right, looking to manufacture a run against the opposite-handed pitcher that they don't do as well against. Maintain their 2-run lead, and we'll see which team outlasts the other, or if one team outslugs the other to make it to the wild card game. There's a soft liner out to second base, or a pop-up. Glove for the first out. High pop-up behind third base. Left fielder's going to have enough time to reach out and glove that one for out number 2. We took a look earlier, and they're the highest ERA team in the American League, allowing about 8 runs per game. Or actually, that was the power versus right team. They're focusing on the power versus left team, who are averaging about 6, which still isn't great, but not nearly as bad as their opponents. I mean, we saw previous to the game, they've given up 1,500 runs, and there's a good defensive play, a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 4th. They're just bringing out all of the lefties right out of the gate. They're just like, hey, we're going to put you against the pitchers that you have the best opportunity of right now, and then after that, you're done. So if they can hold the lead here, maybe get a good inning or 2 out of this guy, they might only have one other lefty in the bullpen. So I think they have 7 bullpen arms. But this is already their 3rd lefty of the game. They had the starter. This is their 2nd bullpen arm. I think they only have 1 or 2 lefties left in the bullpen after this. So the probability after the 4th or 5th inning that the power versus left team is going to score is going to go way down, barring any like defensive miscues or anything that are always present, of course. Ooh, 3-2. He had to come at him or avoid the walk, and that one is crushed into left field for a home run. See where this one ends up, 403, so not the longest home run of the day, but still fairly long. 7th home run of the game. They're going to leave the pitcher in. He's batting 179 so far this season, but again, can crush lefties. Pitcher lines one into right field. It's a solid base knock. Bunt attempt. They're just going to take this one at first base for out number 2 of the inning. Tying run over there at second. Up to 21 pitches so far this inning. That one's going to be popped foul. Third baseman should have a play, and they'll escape with the lead intact, 6-5, as we go to the 5th inning. Righty out of the pen for the power versus left team. You just made it a 1-run ball game, and now they can maybe hit some homers against you. Leadoff walk to start the inning. Now you start having the 2, 3, 4 hitters with some pop in their bats against pitchers like these. But no, they're going to bunt. See if they go to second. They will not. Flip on to first in time for out number 1. A lot of wasted outs against pitchers that they should be able to hit against. So again, it almost would benefit them to swing away like early in the inning and try and go for some home runs. We actually saw that a few innings ago. They bunted, and then directly after that, after the runner had moved from first to second, They hit a home run. It didn't matter anyway. Grounder out to the right side. Second baseman's just going to watch it go past into the outfield. Throw in is late, and it's a 7-5 game now. I guess the bunt did come in too handy there. Next up, though, Joe Random with 2 home runs so far today. I think both of them were those screaming line drives. That one's right down the middle. He does go the other way with it. It's going to bounce off the wall. The runner who was at first is going to hold up at third base. It's second and third with 2 away now. So they might be able to get out of this inning yet without allowing any additional runs. They let up 1 on the sacrifice, but 2 big runs over there at second and third would make it a 4-run ball game, 5 if he hits a home run. And he's going to have to attack here. 2-0 count. I mean, I guess you do have a base open there at first base. The 2-2. High fastball got him swinging, and power versus left escapes with just a 2-run deficit. Leave 2 runners on. They bring in another lefty out of the bullpen. This is it. They're playing all of their lefty cards right now so they can win the last 3 or 4 innings of the ball game with all their righties. I admire their effort here. Just their ballsiness to say, like, hey, these are the pitchers that we want you to swing against. Be overly aggressive, or we know we can hold you. Quite the power move by the power versus right team. Oh, he flowed a curveball on 0-2. That stayed well up in the zone. And there's a home run. Even if you didn't have 99 power, that one probably a ample ball to hit into the seats. I mean, look where this one ended up. Right down the friggin' middle. 7-6. We've had 8 home runs so far in this game. And it's just amazing to see these 2 teams with a similar record, almost a similar score through 5 innings. Like, they are about as closely knit as you can get. But a big 3-0 pitch here with 1 away. Tying run would be placed on base. Called strike on the fastball. Looked maybe a bit inside, but gets the strike call. Out to right field. It's going to be right at the right fielder, who backs up a few inches to make the catch. Got the batter down to a 2-2 count. 2 away in the bottom of the 5th, looking to keep the lead here. Here's the curveball. And it's going to be popped up on the infield right behind the pitcher's mound. This will be gloved for out number 3. So we go to the 6th inning. It's a 7-6 ball game. I do think the power versus right team here has the advantage. They're up by a run, and they'll have the pitching advantage as well going into the later half. And a chance to add on here, power versus right facing some right-handed pitchers. Takes a curveball right down the middle for a strike. Just to get me over curveball to start the inning. And this guy's already thrown 25 pitches so far, so he's not going to be in there much longer. You got to take your opportunities once you get them. This will be gloved by the third baseman. Throw over to first is right there for out number 1. And there's one, another first pitch down the middle. This time the batter does not miss. And again, they have a 2-run lead. Pinch hitter coming on for the pitcher, which means we're likely going to see a righty coming up next, or maybe the last lefty they have in the bullpen. Batted down by the third baseman. His throw, a bit of a panic, throws it over to first. It's not there, so he's able to knock it down and maybe prevent the double. But the runner is on with 1 away. They're going to bunt with the leadoff hitter. First baseman will have to just go to the pitcher covering for the out, so a good second out here, but a runner in scoring position. Next pitch is blocked. Runner will advance to third. We've seen this movie before, but this time he's safe. Swing and a miss for strike 3, so ultimately that wild pitch doesn't matter. And they hold him to a 2-run deficit, but they do get a home run. It's 8-6. We move to the bottom of the 6th. All right, now they bring in the righties to face the power versus left team. So got their backs against the wall here, down by 2. They're going to start facing a bunch of pitchers who they do not match up against. So it's going to be very troublesome to get back in this ball game. Again, though, barring some defensive miscues. We've seen those just at random times, and sometimes those can snowball into a big inning. Good hit over there to second base, but gloved by the second baseman for out number 1. We're getting a look at the standings here, and again, you take a look, winner of this game wins the second wild card spot. It's a winner take all. There's no game 163. This is the decider right here. And it just so happens that they're the same record, fighting for that last playoff spot on the last day. I mean, for baseball, it just doesn't get any cooler than that. I know game 163s are amazing, don't get me wrong. I've been a part of a few of those as a fan. But to do it in game 162 is also kind of something special. Especially in real life when you're at the end of a series like this. You've just faced the same team twice in a row. There's kind of that game within the game, the mental one. Whereas if you just fly out to somewhere random for a one-game playoff in game 163, it's a bit different. These are your rivals. These are somebody you've been playing for a few days. There is a one-out walk to the pitcher. Definitely a bunt situation here for the pitcher. He pops this one up to the mound. Catcher's actually going to take this one for out number 2. So a missed opportunity there. Again, power versus left. He's going to have to manufacture some runs. And unsuccessful attempt right there. Grounded out to second on the first pitch. Throw to second will end the 6th inning. So a very quick inning here will lead to the 7th. It's a 2-run game as we reach the later halves of this game. Surprisingly, power versus left leaving in a righty pitcher with over 40 pitches already to this point in the game to face guys who hit well against righties. Now has a 2-0 count after a few misses. He misses with the 3rd straight pitch. And you know, like if it's a 2-run lead, like base runners are base runners, but like you might have the green light here. Takes the fastball. Okay, so he put the stop sign on. It's still 3-1. Guess it's a bit different to lead off the inning. Scorcher to third, glove by the third baseman. Throw is low. And there's that defensive miscue that we were talking about. I'm actually kind of surprised they're bunting here too. Like they have the lead. They have a guy out there who is just struggling and is out of energy. He had a hitter's count. Decided to bunt on 2-1. That one nearly hit you. Like this guy is all over the place. Why are you trying to give him a free out? 3-1. Are they going to try bunting again? Oh my goodness. And they're going to try and turn 2 here. Oh, they do get the one at second. I'll be very sad if this guy bunts now. 2 home runs and a double so far today. Ooh, tough play to second base. He had no business making that throw on the run. And there's error number 4 of the day for power versus left. It might end their season. Bunt attempt by the number 6 hitter. Goes to second. Had a play maybe at third. But an out is an out. Runners at the corners now, 2 away. They're just leaving them out there. I mean, they're just giving this team so much more of an advantage facing righties. Maybe everybody else in their bullpen's gassed where they just don't have an opportunity. Oh, he's going to bail him out here. Pop out to first base will end the inning. They quelled a threat and now have a chance to answer here in the bottom of the 7th. It's one of those innings now. You're facing against a pitcher you don't match up well against. You have a few errors. Like everything had the opportunity to be wrong there. But they decided to bunt and give him a few freebies. Swing and a miss again. He's behind on some of these pitches. Now is in danger of striking out after having a 2-0 count. Here's the 2-2. Lace the other way. It's going to land for a fair ball. He was late on a few pitches, just stayed with that one enough to keep it fair. And now they have the tying run back at the plate, runner in scoring position. Nobody out, runner on second. They're just going to play for 1 here and try and bunt that runner over to third base. That'll bring the third baseman in. Can he make the throw? He does. All right, now they have 2 chances to get that runner home from third. At least get one of those runs back. Just got to make contact if you're power versus left and at least put the ball in play, get that runner home on a grounder up the middle, or maybe a sacrifice fly if you can put enough behind it. You just can't stare at a bunch of pitches or swing at anything outside of the realm of the strike zone. Oh, that one nearly stayed fair. It was foul by about 1.5 feet. Again, though, the batter late on some of these pitches, and he tries to fight that one off, swings and misses. A big out number 2 there. Down the middle, and they're late. They're late on everything this inning. But these are 84-mile-an-hour fastballs coming at them. How are you late? And now they're a strike away from getting out of the inning without allowing anything to score. The next 0-2. Lined right back up the middle. It was a changeup that caught the middle of the plate. And the power versus left team does strike for a run. They're just 1 run away from tying this up. Props to them for scoring against somebody that they don't match up well against. There's another one, a curveball down the middle, but this one will find first base for the out. A very back and forth game so far today. Power versus right trying to hold on with a meeting against their contact versus right rivals. They'll start off this inning with a sharp single. They've left the same pitcher in there again for his 3rd, maybe even 4th inning of work. I can't remember. But he's up over 50 pitches. Broken bat on the fastball. The pitcher's going to have to make a tough play, and he legs it out at first base. That was like a perfectly placed bunt, but on the swinging broken bat. You almost couldn't have rolled the ball any better than that. And now a bunting opportunity to get 2 runners into scoring position. There it is. It draws the third baseman in. He's going to have to throw. No, he goes to second. He had an easy play at first, and it's such a slow developing play that everybody's safe. Bases loaded, nobody out. This could be the end for power versus left. A pass ball, it squirts over to third base. Every runner is going to advance, and they are gifted a run there. Power versus left team deserves everything that they have coming their way. Leaving in this pitcher for so long, not taking the simple out. That one's going to be through the infield. The runner at second dove back to second base because he thought it was going to be caught. Does move up to third though, and still nobody out. Yeah, they're just hanging this guy out to dry on the mound. They have no other options apparently, and the AI doesn't realize that this is the final game of the season. You need to do everything you need to do to win. Even if you ground into a double play here, the runner scores from third. It's a 4-run deficit going into the bottom half of the inning. They're 1 ball away from loading the bases again. A 3-0 count here. Just clips the outside part of the plate for a strike. Back to 3-1. Takes that one as well. Wasn't his pitch. It's up to a full count. Still nobody out though. Here's the throw. And it misses inside. So we do have the bases loaded after all of that. Here's the cleanup Joe Random, who's had to bunt a few times earlier today. Now is a chance to swing for the fences. Bases loaded, nobody out. Just really put an exclamation point on this ball game. It's a soft liner out to right field. Are they going to test the fielder? No, they are not. There's a wasted out number 1. I mean, if you have nobody out and the bases loaded, you might as well just look for the best opportunity you can get. There's one right down the middle, and that might be the dagger in this one. Out to the right center field gap. 2 runs are going to score. They're going to send the third guy, and the throw is not going to be there. Misses the cutoff man. It's a 6-run deficit. I feel so bad for this team and their inability to get this guy out of there, though. The power versus right team has had the advantage almost all game. They haven't had to face very many lefties at all. They can just afford to like flex their muscles and just impose their will, score as many runs as they can, and they've just been gifted this opportunity. Swing and a miss, got him on the changeup, had him fooled. It caught the middle of the plate, but there's a big out number 2. And there you go. There is another dagger. This will more than double their lead. It's 16-7 after a 3-run homer, 418 feet down the line. First home run we've seen in a while, too. Changeup, I think the ump just graciously gave him that one as an act of mercy. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Power left down by 9 runs, and they'll face another righty out of the bullpen. They are just not giving any chances. Like I said, the stark contrast in the management between these two teams is just kind of a sight to behold. Oh wow, he might square this one up for a home run against the opposite pitcher, but it's going to run out of steam at the warning track. He just missed that one, and also to 1 pitch out. I mean, he jumped all over that pitch. It just didn't quite have enough to make it out, but I guess you take that outcome, or just the pitch that you're given. Just maybe a little bit more of a pull would have led to a run on the board. That one's another great swing. This one's going to find the gap. See if he goes for a triple, if he stays at second. I mean, they just need base runners at this point. So he's offered up a few squared up baseballs. The first one very nearly could have been a home run. Was caught. This one split the outfielders pretty solidly there. They're leaving the pitcher into bat too. Oh goodness, I feel so bad for this guy. He's thrown 90 pitches. Will be tagged with the loss more than likely, or just, you know, the shame of blowing the game there. Now he has to bat for himself. 0-2 pitch. Pop fly out to right field. It's down the line. Will be caught by the fielder. Runner will advance to third. It's just kind of a formality at this point. Again, down by 9 runs. Leadoff hitter will try and get this runner home with a single or something. 1-1 pitch, cut on and missed, so a strike away from going to the 9th inning and maybe adding even more insurance runs against this poor pitcher. A dang shame too, because this game was close for so long. If they just made the switch just a little bit earlier, or even at all, this could be a completely different ball game. But I'll talk about it again, how smart it was for them to save all of their righties for the power versus right team to the end of the ball game, so these guys just don't have much of a chance. They did scratch one across last inning. In a similar fashion, they have a chance of adding one more here, so they are at least making some opportunity. But again, when you give up so many runs on the other side, it doesn't really matter. Walks this batter, so still a bit of a question mark on if they'll get back into this game. Maybe have a few defensive errors stacked alongside it. Already made some solid contacts so far this inning, and the power versus right team might also be to the point where they leave in their bullpen arm the rest of the game. 1-1 pitch right down the middle, lined into center field. They'll score a run here to make it 16-8. 2-0 pitch right to the first baseman. Oh, he squared that one up, was just late on it though. First baseman guarded the line perfectly. We go to the 9th inning. It's the last inning of regular season baseball for the All or Nothing League. It's 16-8, power versus right team with the advantage. Each team with 13 hits, surprisingly. Just reached 90 pitches. Would not be surprised at all if they pushed him over 100. I mean, why not at this stage in the game? He's already been out there well past when he's been supposed to. And a strikeout. He does get the first out of the inning. Right down the middle, belted deep down the right field line. Does it have enough to get out? Near the track, the wall, and not gloved. That is a home run, another insurance run. Gets the run right back that the power versus left team just scored. It's 17-8 now, still a couple outs to work with, get those insurance runs. That was probably the softest home run we've had today. There were a few other wall scrapers, but those ones were at least squared up quite a bit. That one was just a very long fly ball that happened to go over the fence. Ripped right back up the middle again, this one for a single. Grounder to second, knocked down. They'll get the lead runner at second, not quite to get out of the inning though at first base. Lucky to even just get it out of the play at all. Soft liner to first, and they will get out of this inning with just giving up one run. But again, they'll have to bat around here to even make things possible of a comeback. First pitch grounded to shortstop. He bobbles it, makes the throw. Good stretch over there at first, and now they're just 2 outs away from making the postseason, putting this one in the books. That one's left right down the middle, an 82-mile-an-hour fastball, bobbled in center field. They'll hold the runner at first, though. That one's going to find a hole as well. All right, runner's going to advance to third. It's a soft ground ball through the infield. A couple runners on the corners. Another fastball left down the middle, line for a base hit. It'll be a 17-9 ball game. And again, they do score a run off of a right-handed pitcher. Just they have to really string some stuff together if they want to make this possible. Everything's just being tossed right down the center of the plate. This one, unfortunately for the power versus left team, finds the left fielder's glove, and they're down to their last out of the season. The 2-1 down the middle, laced by the pitcher. Is this over the fence? It is! He helps himself out with a 3-run home run against a pitcher he had no business hitting a home run against. And what an oddity to maybe end the regular season on. The opposing pitcher goes yard with 0 power. They're bringing in a new pitcher here. Fresh arm out of the bullpen. Has to hold a 5-run lead. It's 17-12. I think that was home run number 10 or 11 of the game. This one's out to short. Catches it on the bounce, the throw over to first, and right after the home run to maybe send some excitement through the crowd. The game ends by a score of 17-12. Power versus right will be facing the contact versus right team in the wild card. And shortly after this game, we'll see how the other wild card ended up between durability and the knuckleball team. Let's get a look at the box score, though. Let's see how many home runs were hit. We had 5 for the power versus left team, and we had 7. So 12 home runs in total between the two teams. Let's get a look at the other today's games. I guess this is the only one that's happened so far today. So let's simulate maybe some other games. I'll do the knuckleball team and see if they even had a chance first, because if the durability team wins, it's over. Let's see, where's the knuckle team? Here it is. Okay, knuckleball team won 6-5, so it's up to the durability team here to take care of business at home versus the base stealing team. And they do. The durability team will make the playoffs. Knuckleball team falls 1 game short. So there again, the Power versus Right team, 9 games behind the other wildcard team, Contact versus Right, but we'll see how that matchup shapes up. And in the wildcard, Knuckleballers finished the season at 500. Durability factor, though, does buy them a winning record at 82 and 80. They'll face a 100 win walks per 9 team. Look at the durability factor, though. That stamina, that durability really coming in the clutch, winning 7 straight games to reach the postseason. So that'll do it for the regular season of the All or Nothing League. Next week, we will likely sim into the World Series, take a look at some of the playoff matchups and how they ended up going, as well as taking a look at some of the awards winners, see who won some of the Cy Young and MVP awards, stuff like that. See how many teams made away with the awards more than anything. They're all Joe Randoms, but like, were there some teams that were more likely to win some awards than others? Hope you guys enjoyed some fireworks to end the season between the 2 power teams, and we'll see one of them in the next round in the wild card game, see if they make the next round from there. It's a 1-game wild card, since again we're using MLB 21. But until next time, this is Kasabi from Showzone. We'll see you for the wrap-up episode next time out.